So for myself, for what does a high-performing BA team look like? The key areas I would say is look like an internal consultancy. It's got a balance of skills, a broad toolkit, so not exclusively from one domain or another, not just, oh, this is a lean toolkit, this is a Six Sigma toolkit, this is an agile scrum, the SDM toolkit, behavior-driven design toolkit, or otherwise. Have a broad toolkit, because at the end of the day, you need to be a team of generalists, because the specialists are the subject matter experts you might be working with. Ideally, within the team, either somebody who's in an office administrator role or providing that function, or office manager. And also you've got clear processes of your own. So you can't be like the cobbler's kid shoes, where you're doing everything great work for everybody else, but you're never taking care of your own. So you've got decent processes yourselves and efficient processes. You should be an exemplar. If you're going to practice efficiency, effectiveness, and high performance, really, you do need to be a high performing team yourselves, and evidencing that with your performance. What's the return on investment? Should ideally a BA team operating as a consultancy should be returning internally probably 4 times the cost of that section, where you look at the efficiencies from there. You've got time as a BA team, you need time to sharpen your axe, so to speak, to have the helicopter view, to understand the business of the organisation that you're working in. So you should know your internal client better than they know themselves. To those ends, it should have compassionate leadership. BAs often have challenges, as they do, because they're high thinking people. So there should be compassionate leadership, and it should be, like I said, internally client focused, empathetic, with a decent, and the team got a good bedside manner, if you will. I don't think the process is always the same. It's not one size fits all. The design of the team needs to complement the business or the internal client needs, not just what they want, but also the corporate vision, mission, strategy, and associated metrics. You need to understand the key value streams in the organisation. So somebody needs to be the architect of the BA team, to be blunt, and the process for that is therefore different depending on what the needs are. It may be a more digitally based business, it might be more analog, it might be in manufacturing, it might be in engineering, it could be in thought products, training, whatever it is. If you're the BA team, it needs to ensure that you understand the business and the systems architecture that you're operating in. And that doesn't mean you're as an expert, but as a generalist, you understand what's happening. And equally, the team should be bespoke to the organisation and have the ability to flex as needed. So just ultimately, a lot of your work that you will be handling will be coming through either your funnel, which will be have a prioritisation matrix or otherwise. So it's just recognising the flex and the demands. And equally, there needs to be a bit of strength in your capacity planning too. Yeah, so what's usually useful as a leader of a team is to do a skills matrix and to have a decent skills matrix assessment. And actually, when you're recruiting in, is to see where areas that you may be stronger. So if you've got strength in the DMAIC side, which is the old sort of the Lean Six Sigma world, define, measure, analyse, improve, and you're heavy in there, but you're lower in the digital skills and the systems elements to that, not necessarily as a systems analyst, but as a digital BA, then you may need to recruit stronger in there. Equally, as I said, as the internal demands alter, you may need to change the recruitment or the development of colleagues. A skills matrix is one of the best visuals you can get to do that. You've got who are the people, what are the skills. I like doing it because it's like pies, because I'm from Bolton, but it's looking at those measures of who's strong and who's not, and who you pair up, and playing the squad so the business need. But equally, one can buddy up on with another.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as either you've onboarded new colleagues and you've understood what their backstory is, or you've inherited a team from there, as part of your discovery with the team is what do they know about themselves, what don't they know about themselves, because we don't know what we don't know. And it's capturing that then with regards to what's the skills, knowledge and behaviours that team members have got. We've all got different personality types, that's great. You may be somebody who overextends, if you're familiar with that element of psychology, under stress in a particular way. So certain situations may suit certain colleagues there. And it's looking at the balance of the team. You do not want a team of clones, far from it. You want a team of people who are different, so you've got diversity of thought, because the business analysts will not always be operating individually, solving problems on their own. Actually, strength comes from coming back to the team having that stand up, having that outweigh, and getting to the grips of that. The skills matrix is a useful model because you can understand from the process of discovery, one-to-ones, interviews, who's got what skills, knowledge and behaviours, and then it's overlaying those individual ones from a team perspective and thinking, right, where are we strong, where are we not strong, how do you play this squad? And then it's up to the leader then to see, well, how does that land with your internal client, you know, or with the rest of the organisation? How does that match? So, for example, in social housing, if you are high paced and you're high focused from a manufacturing point, that has its uses in, let's say, in a direct labour organisation or in the factories or the stores, but in other areas, that tenacity may brass off some of your internal clients. So it's just looking at how you play the team in there, because you don't want to bruise a fantastic BA by playing them in a different way.
Yeah.
But lifting the fog is the skills matrix, and it's just it's the simplest one pager you can get, but it's absolutely golden. Great question. High performers and high performing teams, they behave differently, and that's good, but they can be perceived by the rest of the organisation as a team of mavericks, and the CEOs as, you know, people who are high thinkers but slightly different, slightly odd even. I'm Marmite, I get that. And it's just recognising that most people in the world don't like change. There's a book, which if I was at home I'd be waving it up, called Who Moved My Cheese, which is one of the best examples of it. And most people do not like change. As a team of BAs, you're wired for change, you love change, you probably practiced it in your personal lives to the nth degree, and you're totally comfortable in change. But the rest of the world is not like that. So that creates a bit of a concern, and the communication is got to be good, has absolutely got to be fantastic with regards to communicate to the business. This is where, as a leader, business partner, and it's like people say, you're on a journey, that's absolutely fine, that's safe. We've got a fantastic squad, crack squad, who are there to help you, and we'll play you in on the journey. But there's a slight difference between what you want and what you need. You may not be fully aware of, but we can help you with that. And that's where I think, from the business analyst point of view, when the BAs have got high emotional intelligence, not just high IQ, they've got the ability to sit with people, to take them on the journey without winding them up, without getting the hackles up. Because you've got a team of change agents, and that can raise concerns. High performing people, though, at the same time, they need mental stimulation. I'll give you a classic example at the moment. Pandemic. Some organisations have chosen to furlough the BAs, and I'm fully aware of, been in conversations with many who they're just the same with the corporate commandos. We have the people in the war footing that you should have had on the trenches, coming up with ideas, with the problem solvers, with the thinkers. If we weren't valued in this space, then we're off. And I've known so many business analysts who were furloughed, and we've thought, if they've viewed furlough as farewell, I'll go somewhere who wants me. Because a lot of business analysts, they need to be stimulated. They need that intellectual stimulation. They need problems to solve. And if not, in some cases, they'll get quite depressed. And it needs considering that, because business analyst teams, they need pastoral care. People with a high EQ and high IQ are typically quite vulnerable from mental health points of view and from taking care of themselves point of view. Just because they're high thinkers and they're highly perceptive, but at the same time, because they've got good characteristics, they can sometimes get ground down a little bit. So again, it's ensuring that the challenge as a leader of them is having broad enough shoulders to even say, I'm pulling you out of that project, it's not good for you. You know, because sometimes some of the people who don't get change in the organisation, to be frank, you know, could damage the impact of these good people. And I think that as a leader of business analysts, it's just there to consider that actually they just want a digital designer or a digital requirements gatherer. That's a very, very different thing than a high-performing thinker who understands macroeconomic and microeconomic activity.